Welcome to Conversations in Ken's Café. I'm your host, Ken Somerville. Today, my friends, we're going to talk about how to transform your small garden into a powerhouse. And that's what you want. You want a powerhouse. You want vibrant, healthy plants to consume for yourself, to feed your family, your children, your animals. This is all important to create this powerhouse. Hey, Talkmaster, that powerhouse that you're looking for, those vibrant, healthy plants that you're dreaming about consuming, where you pick that strawberry and you put it in your mouth and it's just like, oh my God, it tastes so nice and sweet and fills up your senses with this wanderlust because it's just so explosive in your mouth. Those peas, those beets, those, whatever you're growing, you want that to be like blow your socks off, okay? This is not hard to do. It's a matter of understanding. It's a matter of your education, taking your garden and turning it into that powerhouse. So, how do you get that powerhouse? The foundation of all life. That's the cell division that I talk about pretty much every show. And who's in control of that cell division is the biology. So, to create that powerhouse, you need the maximum amount of biology and the diversity of biology that you can possibly get into your garden space. So how do you do that? One of the big ones, guys, okay, is mulching. Whether you're using an organic straw, whether you're using wood chips, whether you're using coconut coir, okay, anything that's going to block the sun from getting down to your soil structure and sucking off the moisture, drying it out, is going to be helping you to get that powerhouse. Why? Because the biology that exists in that mulch layer is breaking down those organic components out of that to give to the biology in your plant to build more plant, more cells, more leaves, more stalk, more fruit. It's the workforce. Hey, Mobius, how you doing? That workforce, that's your powerhouse. That's the Army, the Navy, the Marines, everybody coming in and helping out. Okay? That's how you create that powerhouse, is by having that workforce. And in order to have that workforce, you need, tents. You need housing. You need, everything that goes with that workforce to have that workforce work to the best of its advantage. So in the military context, well, you need the gasoline for the Jeeps. You need the Jeeps. Okay. You need ammunition. You need the guns. You need all of this stuff. In our gardens, we need all that kind of stuff too, focusing on feeding and strengthening the biology and supplying the biology with the essence, the molecules, everything that they need to build those healthy, vibrant cells. In your plant, those healthy, vibrant cells go and they create your fruit that you eat. If it's a corn, okay, you want that cob. You want that cob when you bite into it, out in the field raw. And I love to eat that because it is, if it's good corn, it's going to be sweet. It's going to melt in your mouth. You're going to go, wow, that tastes good. And your body is reacting to that taste. that sensation. And you're not going to get that without that biology building that, creating those flavonoids, that flavor that is there is a function of the biology to create the cells that release that flavor. The biology is your powerhouse. Hey, shooting the soil. It all comes together in your plant at harvest time when you're consuming those things and you're getting that sensation of wow. Okay, when you bite into that, that sweet potato, and it's a burst of vibrancy in your mouth. Your biology is reacting to all the nutrients in that corn, in that potato. It's your reaction. And if you want that reaction, you have to have a garden powerhouse. You have to have health and vitality. We started out with that mulch layer, and the biology is breaking that down, but it's living there as well. It's able to create things that aren't actually in your soil structure, referencing the biology, because in that it's giving the components necessary to create more biology. That's the thing, guys. It's it's all about the biology, but if the biology doesn't have a place to live, the biology can't stay there. You have to supply that material, which is your organic material, for the biology to stay and be healthy. It's like, having a bird that comes onto your property and you have, say, sunflower seeds out for that bird, and it's going to come back and it's going to feed. It's going to stay there. It's got a stable food source. Take those sunflower seeds away, they're splitting, baby. They're going to your neighbor's house. They're looking for food. It's the same with the biology in our soils. They're looking for the food. They're looking for the building blocks to make more of themselves and to make more and healthier cells for in your plant. The more leaves, the more sunlight is absorbed by those leaves, and that energy is transferred through the plant and into the soil and spreads out in the soil, supplying energy that is necessary to break down materials. See, you've got a good mix of sand, silt, clay, and organic material, and your biology is calling for magnesium, and that magnesium's in a grain of sand. But in order to mine that magnesium, you need a molecule of a particular type of acid. That acid needs to be created by biology in some form or other, in some cell or other, where that is created, transported to that sand, to that biology that's mining that magnesium. Because without that component, it can't mine the magnesium or boron or whatever your is necessary. Those acids are created through the cells of different life forms, whether that's a life form that's your plant or other biology in the soil, or even from a bird. Maybe it's a bird that has been eating and it defecates in your garden, and inside of that feces is particular molecules to make that acid. But without that bird flying by and landing in your garden and doing what it does, all of a sudden you don't have access to that particular acid that you need. Hey, Bohemian, it is an ecosystem that you're creating to be that powerhouse. If you have the entire ecosystem, all of a sudden you have all these varieties of components being created by not just the biology in our soil and the biology in our plants, but the biology in the arthropods, the little bugs running around, the birds coming in, a coyote going through your garden, a rabbit going through, a gopher. They all have different biology in their guts, just like we do. The same basic biology, but each animal is a little bit different, and it's tweaked for what they're consuming as food sources. When you have that combined together, all of a sudden your garden becomes a powerhouse. It becomes its own ecosystem. It takes things to the next level because all the building blocks are there. And with all those building blocks, you can create things that aren't actually there on the biological level. We have what's called quorum sensing. And I've spoken about this before. And simply put, enough biology gathers together, generally in like an aggregate, which is that big clump of earth stuck to your roots. That's aggregation. Or in something like biochar, where it's a stable carbon source in your soil and the biology can live in there and be protected.